That was a long 30 seconds.
You know, this
that
seems like it's going on forever. 20.
Welcome to Facebook Live. I'm David Wild, but wait, that's not the good part. Things are about to get much better because we're here in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina, with the most dynamic, successful duo in music history, the band that got me into music in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Howdy.
First, thanks for getting me to Charleston, which is the greatest place on earth.
Any excuse, right?
Exactly. Even to speak to you. We have history. We'll get into that later as part of the therapy session. But the first question is about this tour that has been announced, and it's gone viral, not in the groupies in the 70s sense of viral, but in a good way.
God forbid.
Exactly. It was trending on Facebook. It was making headlines. What was it like for you when this tour was announced? Because it was a well-kept secret for a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were hoping that it would do what it did, but the excitement that it seems to have generated is even better than we, were hoped for. So, hey, it's good. I'm glad people are excited about it. We're excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic pairing. I love Tears for Fears.
Yeah,
and every person I've spoken to about this has always said, man, what a great bill. So right out of the box, it feels really good.
It was our idea to ask them to do it.
Oh, great. How did it go?
Yeah, because the agency we work for tried a few different things, and suggested a few different things, excuse me, and none of it really felt right to us, and we thought about it like who could we call and who's out there, who wants to tour, and their name came up, and I said that's the one, because the music they do is, I feel that there's a certain similarity to what we do. There's a certain timelessness to their music. I think they appeal to a lot of the same people we appeal to. I think it's a great combination.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
And considering the amount of touring you guys have done, and my first show ever, my first date ever was to a Hall & Oates, Daryl Hall and John Oates show.
First date.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been married for 20 years, so I know you guys have been doing this a while. Is it amazing to you that there's still this level of excitement, that you're heading out on, this is a massive arena tour, this is going to be a big deal?
We have an amazing band, and I really like going on stage with these guys. Not only are they amazing players, but they're really cool people, and they bring an energy to what Daryl and I do. And over the years, we've been really fortunate to have incredible musicians play with us, right from the very beginning. But this band, there's something about it, something about the chemistry in this band. It's just amazing.
But as far as the audience goes, I think that for the past 10 years I've been doing Live from Daryl's house with the band, and I think I think a lot of people got to know us as people. So there's a certain personal connection that you don't have with a lot of bands, with the fans, or the fans have with us. And I don't know, man. I love the fact that it's all these different age groups. It's kids, it's people that have been following us for years, everything in between. It's really great to have this multi-generational interest and excitement about what we do. Keeps us going, man.
So you predict no feuds with the Tears for Fears and the Daryl Hall and John Oates fans? You think this will not be like a West Coast?
They gotta be wimps, man. It'll be easy to take care of.
Well, I'm excited because I love Tears for Fears, not as much as Hall & Oates, but I love them.
Yeah, they're great.
And I know Kurt Smith very well. I don't know Roland very well. So I figure if I know 3/4 of you, I can probably get a backstage pass.
Yeah, I'll probably
That's
work
why I'm
for
here.
you.
Yeah.
I used to know Kurt. He used to live near me in upstate New York. And I knew him back in the late 80s, and I haven't seen him in years. So
Yeah,
you'll have a chance to.
Yeah, I used to hang around. We had some mutual friends in the city. And it's been a long, long time.
I want to ask a couple Facebook questions that we got along the way. The first one, because it's very cutting edge, breaking news. It's a tough question, but I feel like I have to ask it. It's from Michael Ali, wants to know, John, in the Out of Time video, did you really do that cartwheel?
Yes, I did. I did a really shitty cartwheel, yeah. Thanks, Michael, for pointing that out. And I was wearing really stupid clothes, too, so thank you. I really appreciate you bringing that up.
You like to be reminded of these
I do,
things. Yes.
I do.
So if anyone says that was a stunt double, that's fake news.
No, there was no stunt doubles involved.
And so the journalists who say that are the enemies of the state.
Just don't ask me to do it again.
Exactly. Good. All right. Let's move on to our own questions. How are you going to fit all the hits into one show with Tears for Fears? I don't think they have as many. I know because you guys have the most hits of any duo, but they have a fair amount of hits.
They've got a lot
How are you
of
going to
great
get this into one evening in arenas around
Well,
America?
the answer is you can't.
You can't.
That's the good problem that we have.
That's right.
We have more songs that people want to hear than we have the time to play them.
That's right.
So we change it up. We do. I think in the set we're actually working on the set, but it's going to be different than what people have seen in the recent past with us. There's going to be a little more dynamic changes and things like that, a little more intimate moments.
But there will be the usual suspects.
Oh yeah, of course. But we're going to do a lot of rotating of songs.
Well, one thing I've noticed about the way you two work, for instance, I said it on social media the other day. My favorite song of all time is "She's Gone," and I remember asking you years ago, and you said it's never that song in particular, but in general, Daryl Hall and John Oates show is never the same 2 nights in a row because the way you feel vocally is very instinctive and in the moment.
True, very true.
Even within the songs themselves that we played many times, there's constantly it's evolving.
Mm-hmm.
What the band does, what they bring to the moment, the crowd. We feed off the crowd, so it's always changing in some subtle way.
And it's interesting, we've been off the road for a little while, longer than we normally are, and I took this time to play around with the songs, and I mean, I don't know, people that aren't musicians may not notice this, but I try to do different things with the songs, so we're going to go back and actually have rehearsals for the first time in years, and rethink some of these songs. And maybe change some of the keys because that gives a different feeling. All kinds of things that'll make it interesting both to the audience and us.
And you ever think about the fact that you guys sort of took a step away for a few years at a major peak? It was not that the public had lost interest, but you stepped away for a couple of years, and now all these years later, you're back in arenas. You sort of have found your way back into being at the very top of the.
Well, we got a good manager.
We've clawed our way back.
We fire the deadwood.
Let's get some of the more questions. Again, I know you've. My first concert was you at I guess it was called the Palladium then. Richard Supa was the opening act.
Wow.
So do the
Palladium
research
with
to
Richard Supa.
Wow.
You're
Exactly.
talking, man.
I can't remember what year that would be. But question is, what was the last time something happened on stage that surprised you? Are there still those moments that can, shake things up?
I mean, do you mean musical surprises or like people stealing my shoes when I'm...
The shoe stealing would be more what I was thinking of.
It doesn't happen as often. I don't know why.
Well, back in the old days when we were just scuffling around playing these places, all kinds of weird stuff would happen. I mean, I don't know, even back in the 70s when Sylvester Stallone came out and dragged us off stage with...
That was when Rocky first came out.
When Rocky came out. I mean, that was crazy.
That's the ultimate Philadelphia experience.
Oh, it
Yes.
was. Rocky had just come out, and he was like the thing. And we were playing. Where were we playing? In New York.
We were
somewhere.
playing in New York
Yeah,
at the theater.
and he
on
came
14th
out
Street.
with his
Guinea
strap
tee,
tee on and grabbed us both and lifted it up in the air. It was pretty funny.
That is fantastic. About the fans, you mentioned that, I am one of those fans who will see you anywhere. I recently took the executive producer of the Grammys and I drove to a golf course because we wanted to see you at this crazy gig you did at a golf, which was fantastic.
What was that?
There was one up near Wolfson's place.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, we drove to that. It was great, but I'll go see you anywhere. But the question is, what do you think, why do fans like me, these are decades of, I will go to any show anytime I can, decade after decade. What do you think keeps bringing us back?
Well,
It must be the songs.
yeah,
Hopefully it's the songs.
I think that people know that we're going to do different things with the songs too. There's always an element of surprise in our shows, even if it's just subtle things. But musically, it's never the same. You're going to hear me sing "Sarah Smile" in a different way every night. You're going to hear, a lot of songs different. So maybe that's it. I don't know. I mean, that sounds like a good answer.
It's a very good answer. Let me ask another tour-related question from Kathy Hall. Wanted to know, John, will your book be available on tour to buy?
Absolutely.
And
We'll be
Daryl,
out at the table with all the T-shirts. There'll be a book there.
your
Yes, you want a book? You can get a book.
your new book, Change of Season?
Change of Season. It'll be at the merch table, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
And Kathy also wanted to know, Daryl, will you be writing a book at some point, please? And they also wanted to know, will
you write a book, is what she's saying?
That's what she's saying. She also wants to know if you'll write it with David Wild. No, she didn't. That was just me throwing that in. No, she wants to know if you have interest in writing your own book at some point.
Not as such. If I wrote a book, it would be, I think, some kind of war stories, anecdotes, and shit that happened, basically. But not a biography, an autobiography. If you really want to know about me, read the lyrics to my songs, because that is exactly what I'm all about.
That's your story. Will you have interest in reading John's book?
I've already read John's book.
Oh, good.
It's mostly true.
And you're still talking?
Mostly true.
You're still talking to one another.
Well, yeah.
That's a
No. You know, when John was writing the book, he would send me chapters just to make
Yeah, I
sure that
would,
everything was
because,
cool.
I mean, you know, it's how do you write a book about? How do I write a book about myself without including the Hall & Oates experience?
Yeah.
That was the biggest challenge in writing the book.
But okay, if I could talk about his book, what is interesting about the book is that it's his story. I mean, I'm in it, of course, like John just said, but it's John's story. It's John's take on the world and the things that John took away from the experiences and all of that. So it's not necessarily a book about Hall & Oates. So.
This tour is taking you into cities, you know, in some of the great cities of America, cities where you have a lot of history. I wonder, when you go to Detroit or Cleveland or Miami, or, you know, I'm looking forward to LA, Nashville, which another town I know is important to you. Are there places do you have enough time built in to ever soak up any of the favorite places? Is the experience different? Are the audiences different to you?
Well, I'll tell you, not really. You know what? I think we soaked up a lot in the early days.
Yeah.
That was the time to soak it up when it's happening for the first time, and that's something that I hear again in writing the book. It started coming back how much experience that we were able to absorb in the early '70s, traveling around the country for the first time, touring cities, towns we'd never been to, meeting people for the first time. It was a very heady, amazing time. Now, you know, we play the same cities, but everything's changed. You know, it's more modern.
Well, the cities have changed. Everything's become more homogenized,
and we've changed a little bit.
Yeah, and we've changed. But you know, having said that, I always like to get out.
Yeah, you look for a good restaurant. You know, you try to absorb
Indie
whatever's
bookstores
happening.
as they exist,
Yeah.
if they exist, and cowboy boot stores.
Your opening act is an artist who I think I originally found out through maybe Daryl's house, Alan Stone. Tell me about him, and that's a tough gig, opening up for you know, two legendary acts. But the guy has a hell of a
pull
voice.
it off. Alan, I love Alan Stone. He's I'm so happy. But he called us, or his manager called us and said, "Do you need an opening act for just somebody that's going to let people come in, you know, whatever?" And we said yes, of course. And I was so happy to hear that, because it kind of brings it brings the Daryl's house, Daryl and John thing together in the show. There's some element there. But about Alan, he's a fantastic soul singer, great songwriter. He grew up in way out in sort of the Washington-Idaho border. And he's been kicking around for a while now. He's not too long, but he's a dynamo. He's really, really good. I mean, he's going to do an acoustic set, which doesn't show. I mean, he's great. Does a great acoustic set. But when he has his band, he's like, whoa, man, is he good? So anyway, I'm glad to have him on the bill.
And let's encourage everyone not just to rush to get your tickets.
No, come in early to see Alan.
Yeah, exactly. Don't
he's
miss
worth it.
Alan.
He's worth it.
And the tickets are going quick. We're literally here, you know, hearing the reports, and don't wait. As soon as this Facebook Live is over, go get your tickets now. Yeah. As Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, you guys are among the only working group that still will talk to one another. Like we were talking before, even before Facebook Live went on, you were speaking with one another. You know, and we know from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, no one wants to show up, no one wants to sing with anyone, no one wants to look at anyone, no one will share a table. So part of the question is, How have you done that? And is the fact that you have your own things, like your book, your solo career, live from Daryl's house, that are really, vibrant in their own individual way, is that part of the secret?
It's all that.
It is.
But you know what else it is? It's that we don't want to share a table with anybody else. Screw them.
And for you, John, because you've been very sort of forward-thinking, like putting out, not albums, but like singles at a time. You've done all sorts of innovative kind of ways to put out music. Is that keeping things fresh for you?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And we've always thought of ourselves as two individuals who work together. And we never really wanted to be restricted or tied down in any way. Over the years, Daryl started doing solo albums in the 70s. And, it was totally fine by me. It gave me opportunity to do other things. So, I think that we've always kind of respected each other's individual spaces. And when we get together, it's like time stops and we do what we do together.
Talk about time stopping. You guys look great. You're now, I think Hall & Oates is the only group in which you're both the cute one, which is very, unlike the Beatles. Right? Yeah, exactly. There has to be a cute one. We learned that from
Okay,
the
David,
I don't feel cute anymore.
Is that grammatically correct? You're both the cute one?
Yes, that is. I can declare that grammatically
Okay,
correct.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Okay, as an author, I just want to really
exactly.
hone in on that. All right.
Well, as an author, you can jump in and criticize.
Both the cute one.
I was asked to ask. This is a question. Is there a common piece of advice to younger artists? You must get asked for, like, how do I make it in this changing music world? Do you have any advice to offer?
It's the most difficult question to answer, especially in this new world of digital, delivery and music. It's do what musicians have always done.
Yeah.
Listen to the people you like, emulate the people you respect, and hopefully something original will come from that. And play.
Yeah, go out and work.
play.
You got to get out there.
Play for people and
yeah.
prove it every night.
And gather a tribe.
Yeah.
Because it's all about tribes now. Get people who really care about you.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to appeal to everyone. You just have to find a group of people who really get what you're doing, and then you have to stay with them and try to, hopefully try to expand that.
Just like the political system.
When you started that answer, I thought you were going to break into do what you want to do, be who you
Oh,
are.
yeah, sure.
Which, if you want to break into that for 10 seconds.
Is this like a Facebook Live musical?
Exactly. Is there? Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
They're about to break into a song.
As a fan,
I had something kind of belches up through my throat every time I see a musical when they're just about to belch into song. Anyway.
Yeah. If at any point you want to sing anything, please feel free. The people will love it.
Hang in there, David. Keep talking, babe.
All right. Another question this one's from Carrie Timberlake Hare, which I like the Timberlake part. I think
Carrie Timberlake
she may
Hare?
just be obsessed with Justin.
She's a hardcore fan.
This says
You know her.
You know her?
Yeah.
Harry Timberlake?
Carrie.
Oh.
Carrie says you've played everywhere from small clubs to big arenas and festivals. Do you have a preference?
They're all unique experiences. When you play a small club or a small venue, you have this intimacy or immediacy that everyone's right there. And then you go into a big arena and you try to, in a way, we try to replicate that feeling.
Yeah.
Even though it's a big room with thousands and thousands of people, we want to make it an intimate experience. We still want to somehow communicate to the fans and the people who've come in a way that they feel that something personal is happening. And it's not this removed kind of theatrical, fourth wall thing where we're not really communicating.
Make it all feel like a club. What he just said is exactly right.
That makes me think about, I interviewed Van Morrison once, a singer who I somewhat feel a connection between you and him, but he said, some nights you get there and some nights you don't. And I've seen you 50 times. I've never had the sense you don't get there at least for part of the show. Is that the truth for you?
Yeah, it is the truth. I'm very transparent up there, and I'm always determined to get there. It's a spiritual experience for me to sing. As long as I have good monitors and everything's working and I don't have to think about anything, and I just let things happen, that's when the good stuff goes.
Well, I'm pretty sure anyone who sees you this summer with Tears for Fears, you're going to have state-of-the-art monitors.
Oh, it'll be good.
This is going to be big production.
Oh, no question about it.
Any 70s rock decadence you can add to the picture going back to arenas this time?
Not that I care to discuss.
Nothing you can legally say. This is a very specific question from Edward Anderson. What's the inspiration behind the song Private Eyes, which is Edward wants you to know it's one of his favorite of all songs.
Well, that's a funny thing because that song was not inspired by either John or me. It was Jana Allen came up with that song, and she came up with the chorus and sort of the rudiments of the verse, and I fleshed it out, and then Sarah Allen, just Jana, her sister, and I wrote the lyrics. So it wasn't really. I can't answer that. It's funny, that's the one song that I can't really give you an answer on. But I'm glad he likes it. I'm glad it's his favorite song.
And let me ask one more actually, let me ask one of my own questions. This was, I've heard this is a controversial question. Pat or Geno's? Which is the ultimate cheesesteak?
Neither.
Neither.
Neither. And I know they'll hate me for that.
This is going to blow up the.
You know what? We're going back to Philadelphia in the end of May. We're just going to have to seek out the ultimate cheesesteak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're doing a festival, the first annual festival that we are running in Philadelphia, and appropriately, we called it Hoagie Nation, because I think that is the term that defines lovers of cold meat and Amoroso's rolls.
You mentioned this has been a little bit of a long break, unusually long break.
Yeah.
Do you have any itch to write again for the two of you? Is there any thought that way?
I don't think so.
No.
No. You know, we can't play the songs we've written. We shan't.
Right.
We can't play the songs we've written. You know, we have so many songs, and I always.
That's not why.
Well, you know.
But the reason we can't, the reason
I
we're
would
not
love
writing
to
is
do
because as one grows up, you become more yourself, and we don't really collaborate. I don't collaborate with anybody anymore. I used to write with John. I used to write with Sarah Allen. I used to write with Jana. I used to write with a lot of people. I don't write with anybody. Do you?
I collaborate with everybody all the time.
But not me.
No, not you.
No, we're separate guys.
You know, we've just grown.
We got our babies. We play. You know, we throw them out on stage. There they are.
Do you think the timing is pretty good since there's also not record stores for people to buy music in, and the economics of
you got to go to a bookstore to buy vinyl. See,
I don't know what the point of making a record would be at this point. It doesn't matter to us, really.
Well, it matters to me. I'm going to make one. You make records.
Well,
but
no, I'm talking about together.
Oh no, there's no. Well, the point of it. No, I think that we've gone beyond the idea that we would write songs together.
Yeah.
Is the set list? You have to collaborate and figure out a set list. How hard is that? And does someone get to dominate that discussion, or is it an open-ended discussion?
The set sort of makes itself. But I mean, I came up with some ideas for some things for you to do that I don't know if you would have thought of.
Probably not.
Yeah, so a couple songs that we haven't played in.
That we're going to resurrect.
Years.
Yeah.
Can you share anything of that?
Well, there's a song from the War Babies album called "Is It a Star?"
Oh my God.
That John wrote,
Yeah.
and we're going to do that. And,
Oh, wow.
We'll just throw
But
that.
the rest is secret. You know, we can't give away
I
our
don't know about
set.
secrets, but
Are there songs that you have never not done a full, like, I got to assume She's Gone has been in every set since the beginning.
Absolutely.
I assume Sarah Smile has been in every set.
Yeah.
Yep.
So people are going to get all those.
there's
and
certain songs
more.
you can't not do.
Right.
You have to do them.
Yep.
I mean, you know what they are.
Right.
You Make My Dreams, Rich Girl, Man Eater, Sarah Smile, She's Gone.
Well, you know what's weird is you say there's certain songs you can't not do, but there are certain songs like Dreams, I think, became a bigger song in recent years, like when it's used in certain films.
It took a life of its own. There's something about the uplifting nature of that song that just is bigger than our version of it. You know, it's become this anthemic thing. I don't know what's anthemic of, but it's I guess just feeling good.
Feeling good.
And
Yep. It's just got
optimism.
It's got a groove that just makes you feel good.
And is it gratifying? Like, living in LA, I've seen it, and I know you've witnessed it. There's like a new generation of musicians, filmmakers, people in television, for whom, to me, you've always been hip. But you have actually, Hall Notes continues to get more and more, beyond successful, respected, hip.
Cycles go around, and then, I don't know, here we are, and then it went like, boom, there. So now we're hip.
Yeah. Did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame mean something to you? Was that a nice moment for you?
That wasn't a nice moment. It never is. It's never ending and pompous.
More like a lifetime achievement award, really.
Yeah, but what's nice is that I seriously will say this something happened in the 20th century, in the late 20th century, that never happened in the history of the world that anybody knows about, and that was in music. And I think that if we're part of something that celebrates that and defines that, then that's okay. Then I'm glad to be in it. But man, just forget about the ceremony.
How about the Songwriters Hall of Fame,
Very
which
important.
I imagine that's meaningful?
I thought that was very meaningful on a lot of levels. To be included in that amazing group of American songwriters that goes back to George Gershwin and Cole Porter and the Brill Building and on and on and on. That's, to me, and really, I say this all the time, but if we wouldn't have written the songs we wrote, we probably wouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So if you go back to the source, in a way.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're songwriters.
Yeah.
These are crazy times out there for people. There's controversy in a million ways. Are you excited to get out there this summer and make people happy for a few hours and let people...
Isn't that a nice alternative? And I'll try and be as sane as possible. And I won't say anything stupid. Or at least I'll try not to. Yeah, the answer is yes. It's good to be out there. I think people need communality and optimism and assurance that something is constant.
Well, all I can say is, as a fan, Hall & Oates, Tears for Fears, it's going to be huge. And I use that word.
Huge.
Even if,
wait, that bad word.
Huge.
Huge. It's going to be huge. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. We have just a minute left. Anything you want to say to the fans out there watching on Facebook Live?
We'll see you in an arena near you.
That's right, and enjoy
Shortly.
it, man.
Have
a
fun.
good time, because we're going to be having a good time, too.
Yes, sir.
So everybody get your tickets right now, and thank you for joining us on Facebook Live.